YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher of Realms. I have done so much testing on this new Gilby guild unit. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. Where is it? It is this guy, right? So I've gone ahead and done a tremendous amount of testing on him. I want to go ahead and just kind of showcase what does he do. So I'm going to go ahead and attack my alt accounts, and I also have my iPad over here so I can go ahead and change defenses if I need to. But the whole purpose is just to kind of showcase what can this unit do, because good lord, he can do a lot, right? So I've gone ahead and tested against pretty much everybody at this point. Where is my alt? There it is. Okay, so super quick. I'm not even gonna waste time. I do have two setups for honestly everything, but the main thing is we're gonna go attack this team because this is pretty much a meta comp. People can go ahead and replace the Abomination with Wukong, but overall the whole purpose is to just showcase what does this unit do, because it's actually kind of cool. So let's go ahead and just quick affiliate and then run it down. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do the double chaotic shaman, right? Or I think it's chaotic cleric, something like that. I'm going to drop both of them, kind of show what the damage looks like. And obviously my alt account is not fully perfectly geared, but the whole purpose is just to showcase these units actually do damage, right? So go ahead and drop both of these. And here's one thing that they do, which is actually really interesting. They will go ahead and do a charge up animation right about now, right? And this gives them a buff, which is going to be the burning buff, right? And if they do this whenever other units are around, they will also inflict burning on them. So that first hit, they didn't burn. Now they've done the buff. Now there's the burn, right? Now look at this. It pretty much just instantly, just takes out Torador. They're going to go ahead and do it again. They're giving themselves the buff. And then there we go. It goes ahead and actually kills Abomination. Right? So they're not just a single target damage dealer. They kind of have some AoE to them, which is super, super interesting. Now let's go ahead and kind of see here. They're going to just kind of tank up. Also, that's another thing that I really want to showcase. These units, from all the testing that I've done, are actually really tanky. There's something with them to where their defense is just really high, both to magic damage and physical damage. They just don't die. So here's one of my favorite things that I've been doing recently. Let's go ahead and kind of stack this here. There we go. So I basically call this the Infernal Skeleton Horde, or just something cool. Just imagine a cool name. Bam, there you go, right? That's the strategy. You go ahead, you drop the Cleric, and then you drop the Necro. What happens is they buff the skeletons and the Necro. So they're going to go ahead and do the burning for you, right? And they're doing additional damage. So this is the cool thing, right? Now the skeletons are going ahead and inflicting the burning ahead of time before any of these units go over and get the Torador. And what's going to happen is they're buffing the Necro, so whenever the Necro hits, they're also going to go ahead and deal additional damage to the Torador as well. So here we go. But yeah, now one other thing that's actually pretty common is if we go ahead and stack up two of them, which I'm going to go ahead and do now, you kind of get to see the damage escalation. So we go ahead and drop two. And then we drop the Necro. Here we go. Now we go ahead and see some damage. So they're going to go ahead and start dealing damage. They're going to proc here. And bam, Torador is melted. Just instantly melted. And then this is going to repeat itself. And notice they're tanking Ymrit, right? And this Ymrit actually is built. They're just tanking it. Abomination is dead. These units are just kind of chunking down. Boom. Look at that. Just look at that. They soloed, they literally soloed this team. And if we were to go ahead, and just to even showcase how crazy it can get, I'm going to go ahead and do it on a cheap way. We're going to get to 9 costs, right? Bam. I'm going to drop axes and the Cleric, because the Cleric is actually going to go ahead and buff the axes here. So in a second, right here, buff. And watch this. They're going to one-shot Torador. There we go. And then he's going to buff them again. And then he's going to go ahead and solo take out the rest of the units here. Like, it's actually insane, like, what this unit can do. So I'm going to drop another one here. And then I'm going to drop a skeleton. Or a necro, right? So he's going to go ahead and buff up these skeletons. They're going to go ahead and deal with the Emirate. And then he and the necro, actually, are going to long range just deal with Hotsit and the Emirate. So here we go. Buff. And then here we go. Damage. Just burn. Everything just gets burned. It's so insane. So yeah, this unit is crazy. And this is just for the towers. Now, if we were to go ahead and go to the keeps, he also does something that's really, really interesting because it basically completely dismantles one team orientation. So let me go ahead and pull it up here. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, I set it up here. Yeah, I'm cool with these fills. I don't really care that much. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of showcase this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and drop my tank, and then I'm going to go ahead and slow it down and drop both of the clerics because there's a very specific mechanic which is actually really interesting that I want to go ahead and show here. Actually, let me go ahead and hop out of this because I don't really need the axes for what I'm trying to show here. I need Garnet guards. So let's go ahead and open this up again. Let's get rid of the axes. My Garnets. There we go. There we go. There we go. Cool. All right. So this is what we're going to do, right? I'm going to drop double Garnet guards first. Actually, no. I'm going to do the tank, then Garnet guards. So tank, speed this. Because I want to showcase this tower right here. So let's get to the 8 cost. And then drop these double Garnets. Cool. 1, 2. Alright. So kind of just watch this interaction. I know I have a Yim right here, but Yim's just like a placeholder. Because the real thing that I want to showcase is just how the Garnets work. So Garnets are going to hit this tile here, right? Bam. They snipe out the healer, which is awesome. But here's another thing that's really good, right? So instead of using Garnets here, you can also go ahead and use the Clerics because they do the exact same thing. And they're cheaper. So here we go. We're going to slow this down. I'm going to drop both of the Clerics, right? So this is 6 cost versus 8 cost. So that's important because you're getting 2 extra costs, which allows you to go ahead and cycle a unit a little bit quicker. So we go and run this down. So here's the whole purpose of this, right? 1, Garnet guards as a unit overall, they actually don't do that much damage to tanks. They're really just good for sniping out like healers and things like this. However, these guys inflict burning. So this unit, Reeve, just got chunked, right? Again, now he's burning. He's dead. They also, let's see here. I want to do it where Reeve doesn't die. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're just going to drop double. And they should go ahead and just target the Ezreal. And if not, then I'll just have to go ahead and boost up my Ezreal so he goes ahead and heals Reeve. There we go. Now Reeve should go ahead and ult here. Yep. I need to go ahead and boost up my Reeve. Where is my Ezreal on here? There we go. There we go. Alright, so Reeve is now buffed on my ult, so we should be good to go. Now we can actually do the test. Here we go. And then, actually, part of me might even be trolling by having these max affills. Let me low affill these, and then go from there. Here we go. Let's lower fill these. Now we should actually be able to go and do the test because they're doing too much damage. And you know it's interesting when you have to lower fill something to test it because it's doing too much damage. Just kind of goes to show how useful these are just as a unit. All right, here we go. Also, one thing that's important to note, they pretty much do that buff at the same time period in which you'd actually go ahead and see Necro spawning. So they kind of sync up really nicely with that. So Ezreal or Reeve is just burning. Okay. Either way, just take my word for it. What's going to happen is they actually go ahead and target the Ezreal right here. They basically have Garnet guard range, which is super nice. But yeah, cool. And also one of the nice things, I'm going to just kind of showcase this as well because Reeve is going to die either way with my BP. If we go ahead and we stack up, let's see, I'm going to do it on the tower. If we go ahead and stack up a Night of Destruction, for example, let's do two things. Let's do the Destroyer, and then let's also do a Night of Destruction. Where are they? They're level 5 somewhere. Am I blind? There we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do it like this. So first, we're going to buff up the Night of Destruction so that he basically one-shots everything. And then secondly, I'm going to showcase it, actually Destroyer first, then Night of Destruction. So here we go. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and buff. So now everything's getting burnt right about now once we do this buff. There we go. Am I just getting CC chain? Good God. That was a nasty CC chain. And then here we go. Night of Destruction gets the buff because he's technically a chaotic unit according to the game. And here we go. Inflicting burning. Just chunking out units now. Awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, like these new units are actually disgusting for what they can do in Gilby Guild. They just do so much damage. They provide so much utility. Even giving a buff to the Night of Destruction so he does more damage and burning. Also, these units are still alive. Like they have not died yet. That's the insane part, right? So if you go ahead and you have this unit, definitely use him because he can just solo carry a team at this point. It just does so much. Just so much utility. Anyways,